Michelle Bowman here, and today I'm excited because I'm creating another layout with the More Than Words collection by Coco Vanilla Studio. This layout is, well, it's February right now, and February of course is the month of love, so the theme of the post this week and for the next couple of weeks on the Coco Vanilla blog is love. So I had to, of course, take out a photo of hubby and I. This was taken in late December after Christmas, so it's a more recent one of us both, and it was taken when we had a little family trip with our kiddies, and this was at the beach. So we don't get photos together very often because normally I'm the one that's taking the photos of the moments that we share as a family. So it's nice to be able to document a photo of us, and being February, I thought that's perfect. I have a cut file from the Paper Issue store, and I'm using the Darling Buds paper, which has a really sort of small floral design on the back, which I absolutely adore. So I'm going to be fussy cutting some of these out, I think. And then I've just cut out two of the different designs. So one is like a heart wreath design, and the other one was just a set of 3 hearts. I'm not yet sure which one I am going to use, but I am leaning towards this sort of wreathy design. I don't know if I want to back any or what I want to do quite yet. And I also thought that I would use the Jot Magazine mood board for this month as inspiration. So the mood board for the month has sort of a grey, pink, some blue tones, so really it's perfect for this collection if you have a look at the florals here and the mood board here. So I thought I might sort of have a go at using this as inspiration, and really for me I'm mainly going to be drawing from the colour palette as well as using some floral elements, but definitely the colour palette. And I really like the black and white sort of photos, and of course that's what I've printed for this layout, as well as the grey. So that's why I've pulled this grey chevron design out. And these are some of the whole papers that I haven't cut into yet. So this is the 3rd layout that I've created, and I haven't cut into these 12 by 12 sheets yet. I've used my 6 by 6 paper pad. So I'm just going to have some fun, use the mood board as inspiration, use this cut file most likely, and get some florals happening and some lovey-dovey sorts of embellishments and sayings or title. And yeah, we'll see where this goes. So stay tuned and keep watching to see how this turns out. So I begin this layout by just matting my photo on that blue pattern paper, and that was just a little scrap that I had from the 6 by 6 paper pad. And then I add a cute little tab which I just adore. They're from the ephemera pack, and then I go to cut my paper that I'm using, because I always like to do that and use the middle piece for layering. And you might have noticed right before that I popped a little bit of adhesive, actually not a little, a lot, all over my white cardstock, and then realised, hey, I'm going to stick to the table. So I then painstakingly had to rub all of the adhesive off and just put it around the edges. So I did that off camera. I machine stitched around the edge and added a doily to the back of my photo and some foam adhesive, and now I'm going to work on the design. So I ended up deciding on, which you'll notice has completely changed. My original idea was the wreath cut file, and then I sort of was having a little bit of a play around with that 3 heart cluster cut file that was I had cut also, and then decided I really liked it, and I liked arranging it in a somewhat diagonal sort of, or top corner heavy fashion on this layout. And I sort of arranged the insert pieces from the wreath and scattered those along on that diagonal as well, and really liked how it turned out. So it was sort of a bit of a accident really, I suppose, in terms of design, because it wasn't what I was planning on doing. But sometimes those are the best layouts, those ones where you go in thinking of creating a layout in a certain way and then it ends up being completely different, and this was one of those times. So I used that. I really loved, I tend to cut out my cut files on white cardstock, and normally that's because I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it. I know I want to use the cut file, and I know that white is an easy way that I can cut the cut file and then I can back it with colour. Whereas this time I actually cut it on the pink. So I had in mind, yep, I definitely wanted to do that, and I really love the way that the cut file looks with the pink against the white background, that soft pink design. And then the main design, as I said, was sort of that top corner, so I'm just working on adding some embellishments. I didn't want to add too much colour into this that wasn't sort of in the mood board that I was being inspired by. There was some other colours in the top part of the colour palette of the mood board that I didn't end up adding, but it was definitely inspired by like the bottom 4 colours of that mood board, which you can see at the start of the video or at jotmagazine.com as well. So I used these sketchy vellum pieces. It was the first time I'd used that vellum ephemera pack on this layout, and they just add a really nice soft detail to the page without being too heavy, I suppose. Being vellum, they've got that translucent sort of look to them, but then they also have a touch of colour, so you can see that in the floral or the petal pieces, that little bit of colour. I also use chipboard pieces on this page, not only the icon pieces but also the black chipboard words for the word you. Was going to use a bigger chipboard piece from the chipboard sticker set, but it was a bit too big on this page, so I took that away. So my title sort of says "You, my darling," and then I was able to use the tiny word stickers to say something along the lines of with all my heart, I simply adore you always. And I sort of felt like that I was able to piece together a bit of a phrase there that made sense. Sometimes the tiny word stickers are just short, simple statements that don't really pull together well, but I felt like that was able to pull together and act as my journaling, and I didn't really need anything else to add there. So there's no extra journaling on this page. And then I felt like that black bold U chipboard piece needed some more bold black pieces to tie in. So I used the hearts that were in the pack as well. I added a flare, and of course I had to add those finishing touches of the enamel shape. So I added some pink, white and blue circles, and then some of the heart pieces as well. So here's some close-ups. It was a nice quick process in the end because I sort of cut out a lot of that fussing that I did on this page and just took you straight to the process. So I hope you enjoyed this process video. Make sure you check out cocovanilla.com.au to see what the other design team members are doing with this collection, and also check out jotmagazine.com if you want to join in on the mood board. It's running all of February. Bye everyone.